Hey everybody, it's Bus with Battles with Bus number 668. Today we're doing battle with Vanessa. And so, happy Monday. Hope you got in some good games of pickleball over that Valentine's Day holiday. Let's see if we can't get some good times in here with old Vanessa. And so, I'm excited. Man, I'm still hype after that last video with the blowgun. that made like my entire week. Just blasting with the blowgun and dropping 500 poison on people, 500 burn on people. Felt so good just watching that bar drop immediately. See if we can't do something sweet like that again. And so, what do we got here to start with? Narwhal, Flame Chompers, Harpoon, Fishing Rod. Pretty shitty start. All of these items are just god-awful. And so, I think we're probably stuck just taking Narwhal. You can get some minor combos together with Narwhal early. Like if we find a... oh, what is it? That thing that gives the weapon to the right of it plus damage. Like it tends to work nicely on Narwhal because it tends to be one of the faster attacking weapons you get out of Vanessa, but not limited by ammo. And so it's like, I guess that could be a thing. Pop Snappers is more of just like a mid-game item to me. It's just like, oops, I have an extra ammo slot, Pop Snappers. Or it's like, oops, I'm building to flagship and need an ammo item, then Pop Snappers. It's not something I ever want to take early. It just doesn't deal enough damage. And then we need to be winning early. Harpoon and Fishing Rod don't help us win. And so, Narwhal it is, I guess. Look out, 10 wins. Here we come. But still kick this off the normal way. We're going to take both experience point nodes as we can. Here we should be able to beat the Viper. I think the Narwhal does damage fast enough to where we can potentially win with and get that Toxic Fang. But now we're going to take those 2 experience points early. Ideally, they'll be in the first 2 nodes, and then we have maximum money for that final node if we hit any mountain passes or whatnot. And so that's the idea, that's the plan, that's the way we always handle day 1. I haven't really found any way that makes me not want to tackle day 1 without leveling up, and so that's how I do. Looks like we're barely gonna get out of here. Jesus Christ. Okay, we got 12 HP at the end of the day. I was sweating there. It's such disaster mode to come in and lose against this monster. I wasn't exactly sure if Narwhal could do it, and just barely. Good stuff. Okay. our day doesn't just immediately end. And so, interesting set here. Like, I don't think this is supposed to be able to happen. I'm pretty sure this is just bugged to where you get access to 2 shops, the weapon shop and the medium item shop. As far as the start here goes, I would prefer the weapon shop. I don't care what weapons I have on board here on day 1, as long as I have a board full of weapons. And it's too easy to just go into the medium item shop and get stuck with shit like Beach Ball, right? Or you get like Harpoon or something, stuff that you just don't really want on day 1, to where everything in the weapon shop should be kind of guaranteed good. And so, reasonable start with Shoe Blade and Pet Rock. Don't want the rifle. We're kind of far away from single item with the start that we have here. And then all of these other ones are reasonable. Hand Axe is fine. Katana is fine. I think we could probably sell Fang and pick up Grappling Hook. It's not worth it. It's not an item I'm ever going to be super excited about. I'd rather have that money right here to roll if we want. And we completely missed on this first page, right? Double burn and a shield item, so we are going to have to roll. See if we can't get something weapon-oriented. And the go wide weapon and strength is here. All of these are actually decent, right? 10 gold is just never bad. Arms dealer is actually quite good on day 1. Just letting you naturally scale up a bunch more health than normal. But if it comes to being more resilient or killing stuff faster, I'd rather just kill stuff faster. And so we'll go for strength here. Should be pretty good with this start, kicking off with the katana and then getting the hand axe in for that extra little bit of damage. All right, looks good. Dill Prime, our favorite pickle lover out here. See if we can't get that takedown. Okay, he's got a bit of scaling. Our katana hits fast, but his cutlass is going to start hitting harder. Not entirely certain who's going to win this one. We've jumped out in front a little bit, but he definitely... Oh shit, he's got Life Preserver. We're definitely losing this one. Fuck. Sad day. Oh, maybe. Oh, got the tie. Fucking right. I mean, I knew it. I knew the math worked out there. I did it all in my brain, just like on the Viper round. I added it all up. I did some finger mathematics out here. was wild. I saw a video the other day, speaking of finger mathematics. I guess it's a thing. I guess it's like kind of like Rubik's cubing, to where you just try to add a bunch of numbers together really fast. And it's like they teach the kids how to add really fast with an abacus, but you can't use an abacus in the competition. And so it's just they like mentally view the abacus with their hands, but still make all of like the sliding movements and stuff. It's fucking wild seeing these kids get out there and do that. But that's essentially what I was doing, right? I was doing a little abacus on the fingers, adding up a lot of 4-digit numbers together real fast. It's a life skill I'm glad I have. But let's see what we have here on day 2. I'm oftentimes very happy to just guide the convoy on this round to take the 2 gold 1 experience point. We almost always try to escort the convoy. The PvE rounds are just so good to go up against, but it's very easy here on day 2 to go up against, say, like a level 5 opponent. And so I can't beat a lot of those opponents, and I definitely want to get something out of this. And so I'm going to play it a little bit safe on this day with Guide the Convoy. I think if we had something like this start, but we had either like left-handed or right-handed, so we got to put 20 damage on the katana, like that might be a reasonable enough start to actually escort the convoy. But I'm just going to take the guaranteed experience point on this one. So in the next day, we got weapons again. Not a ton of money, but hopefully something turns up, and just great stuff all around here. And so I'm mainly leaning toward just spending our money on shark claws and cutlass. It does a couple of things, right? We get that early game scaling out of the shark claws, like we saw from that previous opponent. Always nice as you run against like a Pygmalion with scaling shields or something, to be able to scale back at him. And so I like that early, and then cutlass gives us a touch of a build around item, right? To where if we want to go single item into cutlass, we're kind of fine with that. And so with this, I'm leaning towards just selling the narwhal. Like the crit off of the pet rock is nice. The bonus damage off of hand axe is nice. The narwhal just doesn't really do a ton. And so I think that's going to be our sell. We'll pick up the shark claws. We'll pick up the cutlass. Not going to spend the money to replace shoeblade or upgrade shoeblade. That's just something that we'll end up taking out of the build. Right, it's not even going to make it at this point. I'd rather have the medium items out here. And so with this start, a couple of choices. You can go to the Giant Mosquito and try and find Rush, but we can also beat Rogue Scrapper. We're strong enough to do it. Not really interested in Warrior. We do have the single item start with Strength, or the go wide start with Strength, but it's not like a real core build around skill, right? We're not going to define our entire game based on getting strength as opposed to left or right-handed. And so with this, I'm just going to go to the Scrapper, pick up the experience points, pick up the little bit of extra gold. Even picking up something like Junkyard Club wouldn't be terrible, right? Putting that 6 damage on all of our items. And so I think it's fine. I prefer the experience points that we're getting here. But even landing something like Rust would be pretty big, right? It's a pretty reasonable skill. Never bad. Okay, good stuff. Easily getting the takedown on this one. What you got for us? All right, repair bot. All right, so within this set, I'm kind of leaning towards taking the ammo item. We usually, like once we get our build defined a little bit, start chasing after these loot items, but we need a little bit more direction in terms of what we're going to do, and I think the ammo item is probably fine. I'm not super interested in just having bronze cannon in here. These bronze ammo items tend to be not spectacular, but it's a nice filler if we do manage to get direction. If we're digging into ammo, digging into burn or something, then cannon can certainly help there. But pushing forward, I don't need to jump into the shops, and we don't have too much money, so let's just pick up that experience point. Easy peasy. And then what's up next? Another experience point, fine with that. I don't hate picking up Regenerate. Just stacking a little bit. It's never terrible having a bit of Regenerate on your side, but these experience points tend to just be too good. All right, got that loaded up. Definitely against Pygmalion with his ability to scale. I think I want to just get more weapons in here on board. The crit out of the rock, the bonus damage out of the hand axe just seems a little bit better than getting that kind of flat 100 damage out of the cannon. Just synergizes with the stuff we have, right? The shark claws, putting bonuses on them, getting the crit choice on all of the other things. All around pretty happy with that coming together. And then I think we're good to go here. He's going to probably heal through everything at the beginning, but he doesn't have any scaling. And so we'll eventually just overcome. I'm curious about a lot of the things with this game. Is like opponent has Fixer-Upper here. Fixer-Upper's clearly just no good on day 2. Like, I'm curious what the Pygmalion win rate is with the Fixer-Upper, because it's like such a strong late game build. But how often does Pig actually get to that late game? You can't. It's so hard to see without there being like real stat sites or anything out there. I think that's probably coming shortly with like the stat sites. It's probably unfortunately going to be through Mobalytics, but I think that'll be a thing and be out here. And so with this stuff, I'm fine to maybe dabble towards Trebuchet. The item I'm looking for out of Midsworth here is going to be Crow's Nest. But Trebuchet is fine enough to build around. Silencer is okay as well if we do land on single item, although we seem to be going a bit further away from it. And then we do have the little bit of burn synergy with Cannon, although we're kind of lacking in that otherwise. But let's take a roll. Finding Crow's Nest would be huge. We missed just a bunch of dumb aquatic items. That's okay. And then up in the next set, we don't have any money here, so we'll take the regen out of Finn's Big Bite. Get that guaranteed good stuff. Get that 420 health for the funny weed number. And then we can jump into the next battle here. I think we'll keep the Trebuchet out. The thing I'm actually kind of leaning towards here is, like, I guess that's not enough, right? Hand Axe gives 6 damage. Silencer gives 10. I was considering putting the Silencer next to Cutlass, but we're getting a lot more damage out of that Hand Axe. No, there's no way to tell. Like, there was a bit of dramatics on Reddit about the guy that made one of the Hearthstone trackers, or one of the Bazaar trackers got banned and stuff, and I get it. It's kind of like a sellable thing for the Bazaar people if they want to give someone exclusive access, or if they want to sell access to an API, and then you have a guy just out there like mining data for free. I understand the reasoning to want to kind of cut that out, but the thing that I was kind of had in my head with that is I just hated the Mobalytics people so much. Like, they're so super steeped in what they do with League of Legends. That they were, kind of brought in to work on Legends of Runeterra, and then they got a lot of exclusive access to Legends of Runeterra. They did a lot of work on it, and then when the game was kind of slipping to failure, they just abandoned it. And so I think that in that sense, there has to be like a little bit of give and take, right? If you're going to be getting all of the exclusives from Riot and your main core business is propped up by the exclusive content and stuff that you get from Riot via League of Legends, that you just have to kind of like take the hit. And, if you're only making, 25 grand a year on your tracker and you have to pay out 50 grand a year for a single developer to maintain the site, then that just kind of sucks. That's just a business expense to kind of maintain the growingness of the League of Legends front end and the Valorant front end that they're paying for on that. And they just left me with like this super salty feeling when they're like, the game's still getting updated, but we're just not going to update anything else. We're just kind of done. We're giving up and quitting. But we're still going to they would still get the spoilers, right? That was always the biggest kind of like growing point for anyone within the space of card gaming is spoiler season, right? If you get the exclusive access in the Bazaar to spoil, the expansion items for Vanessa, that's going to draw so many eyeballs to your content that is just like so super, super valuable in terms of long-term growth and short-term eyeballs on your stuff, that they were still getting that. They're like, oh, fuck the game. We're not gonna maintain our tracker anymore. But we still get all of these eyeballs on the thing. And so I'm fairly like, there's a few rumblings that Mobalytics are one of the people that are going to be grabbing the API to make a tracker for the Bazaar, and it makes me a bit worrisome and a bit sad and a bit upset. But that just kind of falls into the world of it is what it is. Like, I get why they would not want that one dude that's just out there mining data, some college kid, being the forefront of Bazaar trackers, but I do have a bit of concern in the back of my head that Mobalytics is going to roll in, and then if the Bazaar isn't as spectacularly popular as they want it to be, then they're just going to abandon ship and go, because they have historically done that in the past. But nonetheless, tangents aside, let's jump back in here. I'm fine to upgrade the trebuchet here. I think this is the finest upgrade that we have. It wouldn't have been a horrible place to go for skills, since none of our items are things that you really kind of want to hang on to forever. Like, typically in this space, if we didn't go skill, I would be a little bit more interested in upgrading silencer. This is just a very powerful thing in a single item build, but it seems like we're going to be stacking a bit of width today, and the trebuchet is going to play fine in that sense. It's going to be the biggest upgrade option that we have here, especially getting closer to that ability to stacking burn on the opponent. So that should be fine. Skill might be the take there, and then we get the opportunity here for extra burn onto the trebuchet. I think that's fine. It's a decent building point. Again, we don't have to stick to this forever, but it's kind of the strongest thing that we're doing right now. I don't want to invest in Shark Claws. It's not a mid to late game item. I don't want to invest in Cutlass. It's kind of doesn't matter about its level ups as much, but the trebuchet certainly does. Next set, though, don't really have any money. We'll take the experience point, take the gold. Jump on into this next set. All right, how are we going to upgrade this here, though? Do want to get the katana on board. Just one of the nice set of items to have with the trebuchet, even if we don't get like a full build around on it, right? The fast attacks katana, double attacks a cutlass, fast attacks a shark claws. So those all tie in nicely with the trebuchet. After that, I guess we just stick with this hand axe, putting that extra 24 damage on board. Okay. All right.
My fight isn't with you.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of tough for Mobalytics, right? They went all in on that guy. There was that guy in the Legends of Runeterra community that he was one of the more popular streamers, and then he had some kind of sex scandal or some kind of scandal that he had about one of his like employees or something. I don't remember the whole story. He got canceled pretty quick and was out of the community, but that was the guy Mobalytics backed, and so I'm sure that was like a real. A real like salty spot for them in terms of what was happening with the game. They backed that guy as their horse in the race, and the game was already losing money and stuff. And so they probably just said, "Fuck it, we're gonna cut ties with this. We're not gonna risk bringing in some other less than scrupulous person to be the forefront of our company." It's so kind of glad it happened to him. I don't like those people, and so is what it is. I'm sure there's fantastic people at the Mobalytics company. It's just the optics I have on them is very poor. All right, moving forward though, we could probably pick up some ammo items here. I'd love to pick up double barrel. We have a potential upgrade to cannon. That's going to be fine. Repeater, I'm not a huge fan of this patch. Right, repeater needs to be in a full ammo build. It's not nearly as strong as it used to be. And I tend to just want to find it later, right? Just activating this off of cannon is not enough. Activating it off of cannon double barrel gets a little bit better, but it's still like I kind of want just like the full super ammo item build around. And we aren't there yet, and this is too expensive to take right now. But I am going to take a roll, see if we can't turn up a double barrel. Doesn't make an appearance. Revolver and grape shot are both kind of okay. Nesting doll is fine as well in the full ammo build, but not quite there yet. It's kind of chicken and the egg in the sense that you want ammo early to start scaling up, right? And it's also a very fast attacky thing. And so if you have like use an ammo item burn, and then more importantly, your weapons get plus damage for every ammo you have on board, Nesting Doll plays fantastically into that. But I think missing out on like 2 or 3 ammo on the doll to not take it now is probably fine. So we'll skip over that one. I'm leaning towards just taking some of these smaller things, though. I don't really want revolver, but the ammo seems to be the way that we're starting to get like a little bit of direction out here. So let's solve those things. We'll hang on to the crit instead of hanging on to the bonus flat damage. Now let's see what skills turn up. Just garbage on the first page, right? I don't really want to be taking money. I'd like to find a bit of direction. Let's get this force field out of here. We're never using it. Take that roll. Give me something good. What you got? Weights? And so lifting, this would get us like full on into go wide weapons, right? Just having this thing that puts the flat bonus damage on all of our weapons when we already have strength. I'm pretty on board with that. The thing I will say is I do still land on wanting to play Captain's Wheel. And so it would be something like Captain's Wheel, Trebuchet, Double Barrel, and then maybe like an ammo flask and another ammo item or something. Like that's kind of what I have in mind when I have a build like this coming together. And so it's not going to be just like a ton of small items or something. We'll have to see how things plan out. But we're definitely pushing away from a single item build into a multi-item build, and definitely just tying in towards weapons here. All right, let's hit up the docks. Jump, get some money, get some gold, see if we can't get a good item out of the mix. Did not. And let's see what turns up here. Leaning towards just the crooner. Not enough good items out of the dervish or the retiree. Do we want to switch to any of this ammo stuff though? Like I'm kind of done with shark claws. We're not trying to be a scaling build. We're just out here trying to kill people fast. So it can go. This other stuff can go a little bit later. Grape shot's going to deal more damage than the revolver. Okay. Maybe a revolver would have been okay. This is an opponent that does like a bit of scaling, right? He's got the Ganjo onto the textiles, but I think we do enough damage to where we'll kill him. All right, we're out of cannon damage. We're out of grape shot damage, but our burns are still stacking in with the trebuchet. Gets a heal at the end of the day, but I think we'll close this out. Oh god, we're not going to do it, are we? we're gonna be counting on the sandstorm out here. Fuck me. Oh god, we ended up losing this round. Might have mispositioned our trebuchet. I initially had the trebuchet on the left. God damn it. Getting that extra burn, and then when I swapped our items out, I didn't leave it there. Fuck me. Okay, well, just act like that didn't happen, and maybe things will get better. Let's see what we can find out of this set. I'm leaning towards Wanted Poster. These are always good in terms of just getting that free experience point at the end of every round on day 4. Obviously much better than on day 9 or day 10. You get that extra experience along the way. I don't hate star charts, but oh shit, we got so much money off of that. So much money off of that thing. I was not expecting to get 6 gold off of the spare change from the briefcase. Guess we'll take both. Just the star chart opens up docks, right? It gets you that experience point plus 2 gold out of the, or 5 gold out of the docks if you want it. So very interested in it. Now within this set, though, I'm a little interested in Nautica. Like, I don't hate Crow's Nest. And then here's the opportunity for Captain's Wheel. We're always glad to see the Captain's Wheel turn up. So let's see. Get rid of some of this nonsense we'll never use. Captain's Wheel comes in. Okay, perfect, perfect. So where are we going with this? The wheel's coming in. Probably just take out Katana. It is a fairly fast attacking weapon, but it doesn't deal a ton of damage. We need like a onboard scaling kind of thing to make Katana more worthwhile. Like the thing to where when you attack, your weapon gets plus 3 damage or something. Like without having any scaling and just having the Katana on board is just kind of a bad activator for the Trebuchet, to where the Cutlass actually deals real damage. And so let's hang on to it. It doesn't do the realist damage right now, I guess, since it's not dealing crits. But it's going to deal more damage than the Katana, though. Alright, we'll see how we can do it. Real bummer we lost that PvE round. Like, if we did one of the smaller rounds, we still wouldn't have leveled up. But it's not an excuse. We got Burn Guy here. Start doming with that Trebuchet, though. Does so much work when you've got the haste on it, but then also getting the double haste out of the Captain's Wheel. Let's fucking zing him. That's what I'm about. Okay, then we got our bonus experience point off the wanted poster as well. Go us. So next set, not enough money to really go into the shop. We'll just take the small non-weapon item. Try and catch a little gold. 4 gold off the lighter is not horrible. Now we have the docks turn up. Again, we don't really have enough money to go to weapons, so we can take the work as navigator now. Recover a bit of experience, get that 5 gold. Don't hate it. And then now I think we're just to the point where we take the loot items, right? Getting a silver tier aquatic item is garbage. Getting a silver tier random item is pretty garbage. And I think even if this was get a silver tier weapon, I wouldn't be super interested in it. I feel like these level up rewards need to change, because you get to this point to where you just take a loot item every single time. At least I think I'm right on this. Like, I haven't followed a lot of the old Bazaarian pros on that thing there, but right, this is exactly what we're trying to do. Just spike things like insect wings, things like burn are good, sharpening stone is good, money is good, experience points are good. Like, there's just so many good hits out of the loot items, to where if you get, random silver tier aquatic item, you say, congratulations, 2 gold, right? We already got 2 gold. I got 2 gold plus a loot item. And so it just feels so mistuned at that point. But I think I'm okay to stack in with Trebuchet. We'll go ahead and give it the love, give it the cooldown reduction, and then here we'll fight the Harkuvian Rocket Trooper. Lots of good hits to come out of this. Flashy reload would be fantastic. The items get crit is good. Shadow Cloak, not really interested in this build. Like, we could technically be in a spot to where we say, like, Shadow Cloak, Double Barrel, Captain's Wheel, Trebuchet, and just go mass hastes into the Trebuchet activations, but it's not something that super excites me. Gunpowder is still fine. Not going to use it on this board, but we talk a lot about double barrels and getting the extra stats onto them. If it shoots too fast, it can outpace ammo flask, or if you get it up to like 6 or 7 or 8 ammo, then it just doesn't need an ammo flask, and so we'll save that. Not super interested in investing heavily in the cannon. But with this, we do got a fair amount of money. Like, we could roll the dice and just go to Kevin's Armory and try and spike a good weapon that accidentally has a shield bonus on it, but after losing that 1 PvE round, I feel like we gotta do the work and just grab these extra experience points. Now here, I will take the gold items though over the mountain pass. We've got 22 gold on board. We've got a bunch of shit to just sell in our bag. Hopefully we can come up with something. Not a strong first set. I don't really like Cannonade. I just haven't had any success with this. It seems like something that should be strong, but I just haven't figured out the build that's really happy with it. I always just tend to do better with Trebuchet. So we'll skip past it. Don't want these smaller items. Maybe something here. Just all aquatic garbage. Boo. Let's go back. I want that level up. Let's go back. We could get that level up coming into this next round. Oh, that's a bummer. All right. Well, at least opponent's only level 6 as well. Seems like they're level 6. That level tracker seems to be incredibly inaccurate. What do we got here? Single weapon rifle, but with no crow's nest. He's hitting us pretty quick. Our hastes are starting to kick off, though. We gotta outpace that barrel. That's the big thing, I think. Dead. Okay. Not loving it, but we ran out of ammo on 2 of our items, and then the cutlass is still bronze, and so we definitely need to do a bit of work in terms of getting upgrades here. Now with this, I'm actually going to upgrade, but put it on Captain's Wheel. Getting that upgrade to the haste is so incredibly strong. It's having that 2-second haste puts essentially permanent haste on the side-by-side items, right? This activates every 2 seconds and delivers 2 seconds of haste. To where we'd pick up 25 damage on the Trebuchet. That guaranteed haste is what I'm really on board with here. Alright, so that looks good. Now we got plenty of money. Let's jump into the weapon shop. It's so wild how quickly we just skip +2 income, right? +2 income seems like something that should be pretty decent in the early to mid game, and it's just never relevant, and so let's get past it. No good items here to start with, though. Should probably go back and take that income as all just garbage turns up here, right? But no, pistol sword, very strong. When you use an ammo item, deal the extra damage. It is worth noting that the bottom part doesn't crit, So if we say use double barrel with 100% crit on pistol sword, it just does the 24 damage twice, 2 shots out of double barrel. It never crits. Only that 3-second attack on its own brings the damage in. But happy to add this in. Very powerful item here. I don't think we ever want to be with electric eels. It is an interesting item when paired off with this like trebuchet captain's wheel. It can be a very fast activating thing that can then deliver like the charges to trebuchet, but without the self-scaling, it doesn't deal enough damage. I feel like you need the thing to where, again, like when you use a weapon, get plus damage, or when you slow, get plus damage. Like you don't have any of the stuff to get excited about electric eels with. So let's get past that one. All right, next set. Getting a little light on money here. Let's just go to the docks. Get that work as a navigator. And then the opponents out of this set. I'm kind of interested in Zookeeper to see if a to see if a what's it called a crook turns up. Could probably make crook work here. Let's get our ammo item on board. We're gonna run out of ammo pretty quick with this. I don't think we have the damage output to deal with the infernal. So let's not handle that. Really not excited about this board without having a like ammo flask to at least refill some of these ammos, but it is what it is. Yeah, let's see let's see if we can spike a crook. Some at least not terrible stuff, even if you don't, right? Pelts, whatever. +4 burns, pretty decent onto the trebuchet. But yeah, we're looking to go Pygmalion square mode out here. What you got? Pelt. Bummer. All right, what's up next? Small and large items I think we want. And see what turns up with it. Now, I think there is a realistic shot that we would want to switch to flagship. We skipped on the bonus to trebuchet. We already have one of the main items for flagship in the captain's wheel, right? Getting the hastes and the tool item. The only thing we're lacking out of this right now is going to be Crow's Nest, right? You really need Crow's Nest. But I think it might just be better on this board, especially since we don't have a double barrel to combo with the pistol sword. And it's like if we get double barrel, we need to get double barrel and we need to get ammo flask, or we need to get double barrel and we need to find a like plus ammo skill. So I think this is something that we're in like decent shape to pick up. Let's do this. Get rid of revolver. Silencer, probably hang on to. Pelt can go. Cutlass can go. We've got the space for this now. I do want to pick up the friend, right? If we're going to get flagship on board, we want to have access to that friend and pet rock. Now let's take a roll and see if Crow's Nest turns up. It doesn't. I saw I saw the size out here and it was the electric eels, but I'm curious if electric eels aren't just, say, like the friend that we want. Because given our board right now, say we just sell cannon, sell grape shot, sell trebuchet, get merchant ship on board with electric eels, and then we just have 2 hexes left for, say, 1 ammo and 1 friend. We have the friend and electric eels, but is that ever better than just having trebuchet on board? I'm having a hard time convincing myself that the eels are the way to go. Might want to pick up pop snappers, though. Let's do this. We'll sell cannon, pick up pop snappers. Yeah, I think we're just going to switch over to... whatever you're called. Flagship. Let's check out the small items. Maybe a suppressor or something turns up. Some ammo-centric things here in the cannonball, but... yeah, it's like it's all about the double barrel.
Whoever said money can't buy class had
And we don't have double barrel. All right, though. Next set, let's just take this gold skill. Anything good in here? Not really. When you crit, bonus heal doesn't do it. Free stuff doesn't do it. 20 regen isn't bad. It might be like little necessary right now since we don't have any upgrades to the merchant ship or to the flagship, but I'd rather just find something that doesn't suck. All right, flurry of blows is fine. It works reasonably well with the flagship. You get that first flagship activation and then just get 4 charges immediately. And so fairly powerful ability there. Now the thing to kind of take note of here is we don't have to get rid of Trebuchet. We could just look to keep flagship Trebuchet on board and then use the activations on flagship to get some bonus stacks on Trebuchet. I think this is fine. We got a 4-stack flagship at this point, right? We have Tool and the Wheel, Friend, and ammo. We don't have what's it called? Property, but we don't own a property at this point. And then hopefully the flagship activations will just keep our Trebuchet up and running. But here, let's move the Trebuchet to the left. Make sure that Immolating Spark stacks on it. And then up against Pygmalion. 2 levels below us. Hopefully he's just slow enough to not really need the bonuses you'd get out of Crow's Nest. Nope, he's got a fucking massive deadly Regal Blade out here. Got some big hits in. Oh, barely survived it. We stopped at fucking 60 health. Oh, sick. How sick is that? Oh, man. He's coming out here with 750 damage, deadly Regal Blades, and just fucking barely missing. Look at that. He even got the crit with it. He hit for 1,500 on the blade. Just his other dog shit items out here weren't doing anything. Nobody cares about your 7.4 second Addle-Addle. Oh, that's sick. That's sick. I mean, I planned it that way. I did the mathematics. I got my finger abacus out and determined that we'd be winning, and so that's great. That's great. All right, good stuff. So what are we gonna do here? Like, I think I'm fine with how this went. Like, selling pistol sword, grape shot seems okay, but I'd like to kind of save up and see if we can't go bigger in a larger item shop. Be it the property shop, large item shop, something plus large item shop. We got to find Crow's Nest for the flagship, and so let's see. So I'm just going to take the weapon out of this. Try and find a little bit of money. Non-weapon items could technically do it. Doesn't sound super worthwhile though. It's so hard to just spike it without it being a large item shop. So we'll skip that. Don't think we can beat the Radiant Corsair here, so let's just fight the Cosmic Rock. See if we can't land some of this big stuff. Cosmic Wind being the big one when you crit haste an item. Okay. What do you got? Garbage? Alright, yeah, I guess we don't have to immediately sell everything. I just have this, like, 1% chance in my head that we come back and actually use this pistol sword. I don't think it's going to be a thing, but let's not just immediately and hastily throw everything away. We got poison. Yeah. But here, let's check out the monster skills. Maybe we land something sweet. First set, gain gold, no. Burn thing sucks. When you heal, do something. That's not what we want. In the second set, I think this last one is good, though, right? First time you freeze, slow all of your opponent's items, that's actually pretty strong. But when you use a weapon, it gains 6% crit. That actually does some pretty interesting things with the flagship in the sense that we don't necessarily have to put Crow's Nest on board. You know, we kind of want Crow's Nest as the means of putting the additional multicast out here, but if it's going to scale up crit on its own, then maybe we find a way to just say use Vanessa's amulet and get something like Obsidian on the flagship, and then the Crow's Nest isn't a necessity, and then we can do this kind of thing to where we have double item. And so keep that in the back of our mind that these crits can scale up. But let's jump into the second set with the crits. It's kind of tough. The depth charge is nice, putting the flat 25 damage onto the flagship, but I guess if we're going to be real, we're just not going to have the money for this shop, right? Like, we just got up to 11 gold. We could take the shield thing. Just kind of speculating if we find some kind of shield upgrade, but Yeah, we shouldn't have hit that shop. I saw the skills and got excited. Skills are
You
so
should
good.
know,
I didn't
I'm a
realize that we were
legend
going to
from Bazaar.
need the money for that. All right, what do we got now though? Another square. What the fuck's this guy doing? What the fuck is this nonsense? This would be a super easy win if we had a crow's nest. There's no way he'd deal enough damage to fight through our heal. We're not doing any scaling damage though, so I worry that we're not going to be able to fight through his scaling shields. One more shot. Got him. Guess we did have a ton of burn on him. What was this even supposed to do? Apropos chapeau with textiles, a bunch of heal stuff, but only dog dealing damage. Okay. I don't play pig, so I don't know if that's enough stuff on board. It feels like if you watched our previous video to where we built around barrel for like the first 4 or 5 days, and you just don't use weapons, right? You're going to deal all your damage with the sandstorm. It feels like you have those opportunities to where, like in that battle, are you ever going to kill your opponent with dog? If you're up against pig, you're never dealing enough damage. If you're up against shield dually, you're never dealing enough damage. Like if you're up against shield dually, or if you're up against burn dually, you're probably just dead anyways. Same with poison. You might be able to go toe to toe with weapon, but it just like strikes me as the kind of build to where you just go all in on generating shields, and then
we're
you
on
don't
an
worry
important
about
mission, right?
dealing
Overthrowing
damage.
tyrants, liberation, and such.
I don't know though. We just play Vanessa, so that's what's to know. All right though, but this one we'll take the burn. Seems like we're still rolling around with this trebuchet for quite a while, so we'll see what happens with it. And we don't have any money, so not having any money kind of sucks. Let's take the weapon boost on here. That plus 25 damage is so huge with the flagship. And then in this next set, we can go to the car conductor. Might pick up something interesting for our vehicles here. Some of these skills are decent, right? Expert pilot, getting that 30% damage on flagship is great. The cooldown reduction is great. Picking up things like captain's wheel to diamond would be pretty fantastic, and so some decent stuff. I don't think we ever use propane tank, but some decent hits in here. Cog. Eh. Grunty noise. And okay, though, putting poison onto the flagship, fantastic. Just huge, very fast poison scaling coming out of this thing. Happy enough to do that. Got that poison elixir still just hanging out in our bag as well, right? Extract. Put the burn onto the trebuchet. Sounds good. Now what do we do here? I don't think we're really interested in small items. Like, I guess I'm a little interested in upgrading silencer, but doesn't feel like our build needs it at the moment. Let's just go to the Aerodome. Hopefully we quickly find a decent shop. I can pass on temporary boost. Medium and large items. There we go. So let's see. Do we got anything small in here to sell? I guess we should have saved those elixirs for just a moment. And I don't think we ever use cog. But these don't really need, not quite on theme. No crow's nest, that's a real bummer. All right. What do we got? Another one? Another Barkham? Skip those EXP points. Well, we got an upgrade to flagship, which is nice. We're not gonna have the money to get into crow's nest though. Only got $3. Only 3 of them bills left over. All right, another pig. Let's see how this poison holds up with the crow's nest or with the flagship. All right, this is gonna be a fixer-upper. Curious if we can keep those shields maintained. It's so hard to fight through them. He's not fully popped off at this point, so that's good for us. Got him. It's like we do quite a bit of work in terms of keeping his shields at bay when that burn gets to stack up with the trebuchet. Alright, gotta win though. What's up next? Man, just no money anywhere. I think we gotta just take the med kit. Try and get some kind of money out here. Up next, this is all garbage. We don't have the money to deal with the aerodome. I guess we'll just take the spare change. Not excited about it by any means, but that's what it is. Let's at least come out here and fight the weapons platform. I think we're fast enough to beat it. It has some large item stuff, which could be pretty nice, right? When you use a large item, haste 2 small items can be decent. Keen eyes out here as well. Might find a world where you want to use battery. Battery is most certainly better than pop snappers, and so as our ammo item. So some decent hits in here. Ooh, battery. Cool, let's just sell pop snappers. So watch my flagship activate super fast. Sweet. And so what do we want to grab out of here? The poison could be decent. I don't think we want to go for Vanessa skills, although like the strategy I typically try and pop off with this kind of build is you want Aquatic Rush. So Aquatic Rush will come down and immediately hit the captain's wheel, and then the captain's wheel 1 second activates and puts the haste on your 2 other items and lets you start popping off super fast. It's probably what we need to dig for here, but we can also get some usage out of, there's like when you haste poison items at the start of battle, but I think that might be diamond. So let's go to haste and charge, see if we can't pick up one of these that we want. Oceanic Rush is that big one I was talking about. Haste 1 aquatic item for 2 seconds. That should be fine. Either landing on the flagship or the captain's wheel should keep the flagship perma-hasted. Now with this set, I'm going to skip on Tox Clocks and just take the boost to flagship. The thing we need at this point is just damage scaling, right? We need something to scale up the damage on Toxic Flagship in battle. I guess it's not like 100% critical, since we do have the poison coming out of it. So maybe we would rate sustain a little bit higher, since we don't have the lifesteal on the flagship, and we need a bit of time for that poison to do its work. But let's go to Curio. See if we can't get any useful things out of here. To clear out some of our shop. Gunpowder onto batteries, fine. Medkit can go. Okay, so Insect Wing will want, damage will want.
Clean up the bazaar.
Shields don't use here. Crit will want, regen will want. Regen will want. Gonna put the cooldown on flagship. No cooldown reduction on board, so that looks good. I'm gonna pick up bludgeon. If we land on a heavy item at some point, that would be pretty decent. Now this stuff looks very strong, right? We got the burn onto Trebuchet. We got the rocket boots onto Captain's Wheel. In perfect scenarios, you don't need it, right? The Captain's Wheel just provides 2 haste. It activates in 2, provides 2 haste. But if they ever slow your Captain's Wheel, or if they ever freeze your Captain's Wheel, having the haste above 2 seconds is important. And so it's not completely useless taking it up to 3. So that looks good. Take the buckler. I completely forgot that we had weights. We haven't done too much in terms of upgrading lifting. But we've been so like strapped for cash this game. It's not like we've been jumping into a lot of shops to where we could just spend the money for the singular points of attack. All right, though, we'll see how it goes. Up against another pig. Pygmalion all over the place. Dooley nowhere to be found. Early game Vanessas, late game pigs, Dooley's nowhere. Let's see how it goes. Another fixer-upper. This is more of a real deal fixer-upper. Yeah, that was fun. He even has his items fucking set up wrong. Like, why does he... I guess he might have switched it. He just kept rewards card on the board. I guess you don't want the rewards card next to the fixer-upper so that the balcony works, but... Alright, well, that was a fun round. Did you all have a good time with that one? I know I certainly did. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's see what we can do. You want to just take the spare change? Like, to a degree, I want to pick up that that bonus health, but man, on rounds like that, it just doesn't matter. 50 health wouldn't have done anything. But we get a level up, take the loot. What do we hit? Cinders? Okay. Anything useful here? Boss Haro could be a little useful. The slow coming out of his ability is quite strong, just kind of hard to hit. Don't care about the property guy. Frost Street Champion's not, well, maybe Frost Street Champion is the answer. We had such success with Blizzard in the previous one, in the previous run, right? At the start of each fight, freeze all non-weapon items for 2 seconds. And as we did face fixer-uppers, it gave us just the opportunity to deal a bunch of damage before their nonsense came online. And so, like, maybe that's just part of the answer, is just playing Weapon Vanessa and trying to dig for Blizzard. I don't know if Iceburg is the answer. You let them get one activation. So they activate their fixer-upper one time and then have to wait a second before they can use it again. The 1 second freeze doesn't sound that interesting, but if we can get it to 2 seconds with something else, then maybe. Maybe. It's also a property, right? Yeah, aquatic property, so we could use it to get an extra activation out of flagship if we want to pull the trebuchet. Okay. I guess we can dig for an item. Maybe something interesting will turn up. Otherwise, we'll just look to sell. Give it a couple rolls out here. Nothing there, nothing here. Don't think we use Booby Trap, right? Don't have any properties to activate with it. This Toxic Amulet do? Gives us a 40% crit, which is nice, but when you crit, poison 1. So it's basically just +1 poison on the flagship. That's not quite where we want to be. Chrono Barrier, though. Non-tech item. Oh, they changed it. I haven't played Dually this patch. I just saw it, and I knew it used to be that your opponent's items get that increased cooldown, and I was like, okay, well, I'll cut Trebuchet for this, and then we'll just fit in one more item and be kind of okay with it. But I'm glad we read it, right? Non-tech item cooldowns are increased by 1 second. That's just garbage for what we're doing. Let's roll a little bit more. Diamond Shovel. All right, I guess that's about where we have to stop. I'll sell the star chart here eventually.
That looks like the Cretaceous era.
What's up next? Upgrade an item. Okay.
I don't boast for myself. I boast for someone.
Finish off the flagship, get the max damage out of it.
Now
You can still
this
realistically see
will
us selling
inspire the crew.
the trebuchet, especially with it only being silver. Man, as we go up against these, I just want to, I gotta try it. Gotta try it. What if we do this? So take the trebuchet out, put the Iceburg in, and then see if this fast-acting toxic flagship is enough to get the shutdown on this dumbass fixer-upper build. Well, let's see. This isn't a fixer-upper. He's got a lot of big items in here. This is a freeze thing. Not certain how this round will go. I am... Does our freezes level up his fucking thing? When any item gains freeze, charges by 6 seconds? What a bunch of bullshit to, like, randomly fall into. Like, okay, well, we're going to put Iceberg in because of all the fucking fixer-uppers, and then just immediately run into the fucking freeze club? This game is bullshit. Okay. What else are you going to do? And now we land on Turbo, which we just don't fucking need. This game is dumb as shit. Alright, well. I'm leaning towards just putting it on battery and then saving the captain's wheel, so if we come across something like heavy, we can put heavy on captain's wheel. Heavy captain's wheel is pretty decent. I guess the other thing to keep in mind with Turbo is we do still have Trebuchet, right? And so getting the haste activations does potentially activate the Trebuchet. So I think we want to just put it on battery. Let me see what battery does with Turbo. Haste one item for 2 seconds. Kind of expected. I don't think Pet Rock's going to do anything special. Haste one item for 1 second. Yeah. Captain's Wheel Turbo doubles the haste, so it puts 6 seconds of haste on Pet Rock Flagship. Not really what we're looking to get out of that. So yeah, I think battery it is. What's it do on Iceberg? Is that ever like a weird combo with Is that ever a weird combo with Trebuchet? When your enemy uses an item, haste one item for 3 seconds. Is there ever a world to where we use Turbo, Iceberg, Trebuchet, and then Flagship? We cut out the Captain's Wheel and the Pet Rock, so we only have a 3 activator Flagship. But like that Turbo Iceberg with Trebuchet. So it's just like whenever an opponent uses an item, it would charge Trebuchet 2 seconds. Is that... Are we like going too hard on this? I think I like it. It's like we've been cutting our chops here with just like a 4 activator Flagship. Dropping it to a 3 activator Flagship doesn't sound like a massive ordeal. The other kind of interesting thing is, oh, duct tape turned up. We're not gonna... Oh, battery isn't a tool. Tool, ammo, property, friend. Oh, it's an ammo. That's right. It doesn't double up. I don't think we duct tape. Okay. All right. We got something. We're getting somewhere with this. We'll see if it's too memey or not at the end of the day. Let's jump into weapons. See if we can't catch an upgrade.
But I can help you finish
Nope.
the fight.
Nothing there. Nothing with the second set.
Be back.
Okay.
With bruises.
I guess we'll at least get one opportunity to fight a monster round before if we decide if we went too crazy with this. But, I mean, if we're going to turbo Iceberg, then we definitely want to get our Trebuchet upgraded. Now let's take the 25 damage boost. Let's see what we can't do here. Not Void Colossus. Property Baron's not a good opponent either. We can't survive the one-shot, so Hulking Experiment it has to be. Let's see how this goes. Right, he's gonna start activating shit, and then we just get pretty decent activations out of the Trebuchet, right? I don't think that's too crazy. It makes me kind of not want to use Flagship anymore, but I don't know what the answer would be otherwise, right? I guess you could put a crow's nest in or something. What do we get here? Burn thing. So are we cool with this just being the final build? Can start to look to just pick up gumballs at this point. All right, let's do this. Oh boy, we got to be all in at that point, right? You just grab your scrote and hold on. We're not squeezing cheeks today. We're grabbing scrote. All right. Get this shitberg going. Now here, no need for medium items. We don't have anything. We'll go to the big bite, and then we'll sell off the gumballs now. Just held on to them in case we went to a shop where they'd be worth money. Okay, up against Vanessa. Let's see what we can do. I mean, I think I would feel better. It's like we need the lifesteal at this point. That's the only thing. We don't have the sustain with this, and so we're like super glass cannon in terms of what we're doing. But we gotta be strong against poison, though, right? Having the Iceberg is so strong against this shit. Here come the big Trebuchet booms. He's got 100 poison. We got 250 poison on him. Seems like we did something right there. Okay, I dig it. Good stuff. So yeah, we just need that sustain somewhere, anywhere. Like Obsidian would be ideal. Put Obsidian on the Trebuchet. I'd feel pretty happy about that. What do we got here? Diamond tier skills. Maybe you get like your leftmost item as lifesteal. Probably just got to take the crit. I know we have the scaling crit off of our aggressive when you use an item 6%, but we need some kind of base for it. So 16 crit across the board's not that bad. Don't need to get too crazy with rolling there. All right, next set. Continue taking gumballs. Boop, boop, boop. What do we pick? Butter? Tool or food do something. I'm not reading that. It probably doesn't do enough, huh? If you don't know what it does at this point, then it probably doesn't do enough. Do. I got them gumballs. Did we miss one? Okay, take the skills, just take the guaranteed good stuff at this point. Aquatic Rush upgrade doesn't do anything, right? Because the Trebuchet is not aquatic. We only have the one aquatic item at this point. Right Eye should be decent. Put more crit on the flagship. I'd rather take the guaranteed thing there than rolling for something and missing. Now we can fight the Trash Titan. This should definitely be a winnable battle. Has at least a decent skill in Juggler. Use a small item, charge a large item. But not too much more we can get out of this. Where are we at? 80 crit on the flagship, 40 crit on the Trebuchet at the end of the battle.
Pathetic. Need to throw some things overboard.
Okay, we're getting there. So what's up next? Curio's probably fine.
Well, howdy, hero.
So what do we got? Regen.
Well, you're doing
Crit.
your part. to
Crit.
Clean up the
We'll
bazaar.
put crit on the Trebuchet, I guess. I mean, that's our big attacky item, right? Plus damage, no shields, plus damage. Gold's not going to do anything. Take a roll. Weapon, weapon, weapon. I do want to put the weapon damage onto flagship, though. No icicle shelter. Blue nanas, sure.
Reuse everything.
Okay. Stuff happened there. Thanks, Curio. So what's up next? Enchant an item with shield effects. So I guess it is what it is, right? It at least gives us some kind of sustain. We can put it on the Trebuchet. It'll shield equal to the damage. It's kind of like having a... why is it? Oh, we have the bonus shield skill that we took early. It's kind of like
I may be
having
young, Lord
obsidian.
Captain, but I've seen my share of storms.
Doesn't work against poison, but it's better than nothing. Now let's see here. Doesn't entirely... I was going to say, is this another fucking ice club? It's like, is that really how our day's going to be? It is another fixer-upper, but kind of curious how this plays out with... how it plays out with his fixer-upper not being completely off the rails, but it is what it is. We got taken down fairly handily there, and so I mean this run was kind of bullshit. Like
They will guide your strategy.
it's tough here in the sense that, you know, like there's a couple of like ideas that I have in terms of how the game flow goes, and it's really tough to determine how good some of these builds are, right? It's very frustrating to kind of get to this end game state and just be up against like 4 different flavors of fixer-upper builds, and there's no real counter to it. But that's only like one side of the coin, right? We're in beta. It's going to get, you know, nerfed eventually. It is what it is. But I'm kind of curious in the sense that, like, if you've ever like played gaming competitively or card games competitively, and like a good deck comes out, right? And so the common flow of the way that win rates work with these decks are like the people at the top of Masters, at the top of Legends, the content creators that aren't dick at the game, like they'll come up with some new deck, they'll play it, it'll either just be legitimately good and they'll get like an 80% win rate with it, or they're just better than everybody else they're playing against and they'll get like a 70% win rate with it. And then you play 20 or 30 games with it, you run to Twitter, you say, hey Twitter, look at this deck that I have an 80% win rate with, and then everybody goes, wow, you're so amazing, I'm going to start playing that deck. And then they play that deck to a 45% win rate. And so what you would see is across all of the tracking sites on like day 1, day 2, day 3, whenever like a new deck emerged, it would be sitting at like 60, 65, 70% win rate as the good players were playing it. And then as that deck trickled down, to the less skilled players, the less serious players, that win rate would start to tank. And so in Legends of Runeterra, the kind of magical win rate for any deck was 55%. If it was over 55%, then it was going to get nerfed, and if it was below that, then it was fine. And if it was under 45%, it might look to get buffed. And so what you would see is like the new deck would emerge. It would hold like a 65% win rate, and then a week later it would drop down into like 52% once the normals got a hold of it. And to kind of like circle that back to this, there's kind of two things I'm curious about in terms of fixer-upper and these fixer-upper builds that you don't really have visibility into since there's no tracking. And like the one point is, are we just never seeing the bad fixer-upper builds, right? We saw fixer-upper on like day 3 and smashed the shit out of it because it's such a horrible build in the early game that I'm curious the amount of fixer-upper players that just get completely knocked out of the run that you never see, right? Do we, like what is that percentage? And so it's like the average win rate of a fixer-upper build, like 4.5 wins, because it's just like so super bad early, or if you don't get like the correct combo of items, it just falls apart. Like I'm curious to see where that stands, because it's just impossible to tell. The other piece that comes with that is there is like multiple avenues to getting to say that 55% win rate, in the sense that if you're gonna look at the average score that you get, right? So let's say that we're playing to 7 wins. Like an average win rate for the deck, for the fixer-upper deck, is 7 wins. Now, is that because it manages to go like 8 and 6, and then like 7, like 8 wins, 7 wins, 6 wins, 7 wins, 6 wins, 7 win, 8 win, to where there's like this very close cluster around 7 wins? Or does it appear to be much more spread out, to where it goes like 9 wins, 10 wins, and then 4 wins, and then 5 wins, and then 9 wins, 10 wins, 4 and 5. And so it's like if it doesn't hit, it doesn't spike. And so I'm kind of curious from the design perspective how much that will be allowed, and then how much that kind of fixes itself once people realize that it's a super like high rolly deck, and you have to hit the right components for it to actually be good. I'm not certain. I'm getting kind of rambly with this, but at the end of the day, this was like ultimately super frustrating to be like, all right, well, let's see what we can do with the Iceburg against the fixer-upper. It seems like it should be fairly strong against fixer-upper, right? The whole idea with the thing is you get the 1 second fixer-upper, and then you turbo up a bunch of stats, and then those stats tie over to the buckler. If you're able to essentially double the cooldown on the fixer-upper with the Iceburg, then you should be in decent shape in terms of slowing down their combo and having time to respond. And then just kind of coming out and running against stuff that wasn't necessarily it. Running against the Ice Club was kind of bonkers dumb shit, but whatever. But then facing other fixer-upper builds and just being completely off the charts different than the common thing was kind of meh. And so at the end of the day with this, I still think that you just have to kind of ignore it. The meta is so wide open at these points that if you're, what is the percentage of the time that you have to be playing against fixer-upper, say day 8 plus, that you're willing to try and dedicate real hard combos to it? It has to be like 70% for that to actually be a viable strategy, and it's not going to be that much. It's impossible for it to be that high over the course of these games. And so I don't think doing these things like chasing after Iceberg to specifically try and target fixer-upper is going to be a worthwhile strategy. The way I like to kind of approach it, and what I've had success with in this patch, is doing the stuff with like Captain's Wheel. So we'll do Captain's Wheel Aquatic Rush, so we get to immediately haste the wheel, and then at 1 second we get haste on our other stuff. And then you try to like slow them down from there. Like you just start acting as immediately fast as you can, and that's just like the best you can do. And I think that that's a more valid approach because it's just more general, right? You can use that with a single item build, right? You can do that with sniper rifle, you can do that with cutlass, you can do that with flagship crow's nest, or you can use like multi-item stuff, right? You can use double barrel submarine, as we've kind of done. You can use double barrel, literally any other item. and try and take down that path. It's just much more generally good, as opposed to singularly focusing in on this thing like Turbo. But the Turbo Iceberg was pretty cool. It did work with Trebuchet. I was glad to see that was a working thing. And so, interesting run nonetheless. Went the whole way, trying to do a crow's nest build without the crow's nest turning up. Still finding some interesting ways to tackle this with the captain's wheel and everything coming together there. At the end of the day, probably should have just stuck to being a captain's wheel build, but sometimes you got to meme, right? You gotta get the Turbo Iceberg on your Trebuchet, get those attacks coming in real fast, and see what you can do. Nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.